So I went to go see a friend who's been going through some tough times, right? And she moved to this little town, and I went to go see her, and I took her a bike. I had a little old bike that I had fixed. I bought it from my mom, and my mom didn't really dig it much, but I still had this bike, and I had some hot sauce from the hot sauces that I make. So I decided to go see my friend and just, make sure she's okay, take her a bike, and I fixed the bike up and everything, took her some hot sauces, and then I invited her out to go eat, right? Now I figured she didn't have much money, but I could afford both of our meals. So I said, let's do something like Taco Bell, right? She's like, yeah. So we go to Taco Bell and we order. The person that took my order ended up leaving, and then our order ended up taking it took about 15 minutes to get our food, and other people were getting their food before we were, right? So she even mentioned, she's like, hey, it's taking forever to get our food, right? So I go up there, and after about 10 to 13 minutes, this is before the 15th minute mark, I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, I'm just checking on an order. And he's like, what's the name? And I said, Francisco, just like I had told the girl earlier. And then the guy hollers out, hey, is there an order for Francisco? That kind of jazz. And what I think is that they were changing shifts. So I guess it was about 2 or 3 in the evening, so maybe they were changing shifts or something. But anyhow, so somebody's like, hey, an order for Francisco. Then the guy after me had already gotten his food, so now I'm just kind of waiting for my food. And then the guy brings my food, and he said, an order for something, I don't even know what he said, but it wasn't Francisco. So I said, it's Francisco. He's like, okay, Francisco. And I said, if you say it 3 times, you'll remember it. So he ended up saying my name 3 times, and I just looked at him, right? Well, I was like, whatever. I was okay. The guy brought me my food. Then I sit down, and me and my friend start praying right before we eat. Then we start eating, and we're all good, Well, there was this lady behind, the guy that had gotten his food before me, even though he had gotten there after me. But there was this lady there. And I hear somebody holler my name. And I just hear something like, hey, Francisco. And I looked back and I thought it was kind of funny. I thought somebody was just having a laugh or something. But she said, hey, Francisco, I'll remember your name because you're an asshole. So I looked and I was like, whoa, did she just call me an asshole? And this lady was close to the door, like she was about to leave, but she turned around and said this, right? So I get up and I said, you can kiss my hairy Mexican ass, you bitch. And then the shit just hit the fan. I went up to her and I said she knew nothing of what she was talking about. I did nothing to the guy or to the kid other than say, if you say my name 3 times, you'll remember it next time, right? Even though I got no apology for getting late food. I didn't get an apology for getting my name butchered, none of that. So anyhow, I made a scene because I wanted to make sure that this lady remembers that it's not cool, it's horrible to call someone out like that and call them an asshole just because he was asking for his order several times and he pronounced his name several times. So anyhow, so then I go back to the table after all this, and the manager's basically asking me and my friend to leave. So we're about to leave, and then suddenly this guy pops up at the door, and he's just this big, tall, built dude, right? And he goes, you, did you badmouth my wife? And I was like, oh man, it's about to go on. I went up to the guy. What am I supposed to do? Cow down? I went up to the guy and I said, listen, did she tell you what she told me? And anyhow, but it was diffused. I remember telling the guy, we can be reasonable and the guy's like, or what? Are you going to karate chop me? And I was basically just waiting to see if he was going to make a move on me, because I was not. If he hits me, then I had the right to hit him, but I wasn't going to just touch him because his bitch called me an asshole. So anyhow, but it was all diffused by the grace of God. We left Taco Bell, and that was kind of it. So, so that's why I call this. My name is Francisco.